The dust has settled from the 2025 NFL Draft. 8 players selected by the Fins, 16 UDFAs added. I now want to do an experiment. What does a perfect offseason the rest of the way look like for Chris Grier and the Dolphins? I think this is a fun experiment to discuss. And I think we have to start by talking about what are the biggest things on the Dolphins roster. Well, I could go up and say 1, 2, and 3 are all cornerback because you don't know what's going to happen with Ramsey. You don't even have a CB2 to him right now. And if you trade Ramsey, you need a CB1 and a CB2. So it's an issue. But you need to figure out that position. That's number one. You can talk about safety as, yeah, you got a lot of people there, but you don't have a lead dog. Do you trust Iafatu Melifanu and Ashton Davis to lead that room? It's questionable at best. But I also think interior offensive line depth could be helpful. Yeah, you drafted Jonah Savinaya, but you don't have anyone other than Liam Eichenberg and Larry Borum as depth pieces behind your starting O-line right now. So probably one more addition would be welcome. Before we get into my perfect 4-step plan and 4 moves the Fins could make, hit that sub button for daily Dolphins content, but also to take down the Chiefs report here in our sub battle. We got challenged by Tyler Jones in a like battle earlier in the week, and now I want to take him down in our May sub battle. They have 168 subs in the month of May. We only have 89. Hit that sub button to take down the Chiefs report, but also get the best content around the Dolphins on YouTube. All right, the first step of my perfect Dolphins off-season plan from here on out, I'm clearing the board with Jalen Ramsey. I am. I don't want to trade him, but I'm trading him to the Rams. Seems like the Rams want Ramsey. I think Ramsey would want to go back to LA to try to compete. I'm very clear about this. I don't want to trade Ramsey. The Dolphins' cornerback room is a bottom 10 room in the NFL right now. That's with Jalen Ramsey. So if you trade him, you're going to have the worst cornerback room, the worst in the entire NFL. But it's inevitably going to happen. Seems like the relationship between Ramsey and the coaching staff / front office, not good. So trade him, but make sure it's after June 1st because I'm not in the business of being on the hook for most of his financials this upcoming year. You save some money, about $9 million in cap space. You clear some cap space for 2026. So just trade him after June 1st, and he could go to the Rams. We've shown this trade idea on a couple shows this week. I think this is what you're getting back. If you wait till mid-June, you're going to create more of an alleviation for your financial books, but you're also not going to get that good of a compensation for Jalen Ramsey. I think a 5th-round pick ultimately is what you get back for Ramsey. Maybe it's a conditional 5th-round pick that can be upgraded to a 4th. Maybe it's a conditional 4th that gets upgraded to a 3rd. But I think a solid 5th-round pick could do the trick. But, I'll say this once again. It just needs to be a post-June 1st trade. You trade him prior to June 1st, his cap hit balloons from $16.6 million to $27 million. You can't have that cap hit for a player that isn't on your roster. You gave him a 3-year contract extension last fall. I mean, I know you didn't plan on the relationship deteriorating, but just poor asset management by Chris Grier in this front office. So at this point, just save your financial books, trade him after June 1st, take a little bit less draft capital in return, and just get your hands clean of the situation. That's unfortunately where we're at. All right, but let me know. Do you want to trade Jalen Ramsey? I don't want to. In a perfect world, the Dolphins can figure it out and keep him around for at least one more season because you need him bad. But let me know if you're done with him and you want to trade him. Type Y for yes or type N for no. So, step 2 in my perfect offseason plan here on out. You traded Jalen Ramsey, which means you have Cam Smith, Storm Duck, Ethan Bonner, Jason Marshall Jr., and Artie Burns as your 4 corners trying to vie for that outside roles here. Not very good. So I am mitigating that by signing my top corner available on the free agent market, Asante Samuel Jr. A lot of people are going to argue maybe the top guy is Stephon Gilmore. Maybe it's Mike Hilton. Maybe it's Rasul Douglas. Maybe it's Kendall Fuller, who's still out there, who the Dolphins released earlier in this offseason. But my guy is Asante Samuel Jr. To me, I think he's the best cover corner left. He's young, 25, 26. Yes, he has major injury concern. I am not denying that. Still dealing with lingering effects of that shoulder/neck injury he suffered in the 2024 season. It limited him. He was not able to play a full season this year for the Chargers, which is why they had to rely on rookies Cam Hart, Tarheeb Still, and they had a breakout year from Christian Fulton. But when you go back to 2023, Samuel Jr. was elite, man. Elite. Like, he is a relatively smaller corner, 5'10 and change. Similar build to Jahdae Barron from Texas, who was heavily linked to Miami in the pre-draft process. Dolphins obviously went a different direction. But Samuel Jr. plays great man coverage, man. He's long for his height. He is physical. When he gets his paws on you, man, he just kind of roughs up your route, man. He doesn't allow you to get a good, clean release. You saw the numbers. In man coverage in 2023, you have a QB rating of 61. Like, that's just elite stuff. Took the ball away, 2 interceptions, just barely over 50% completion percentage allowed. An elite man coverage guy in 2023. Now, not as good in zone, and the Dolphins do primarily run zone, but it's also nice to have a guy that you can just say, you know what, Asante, 3rd and 7, go play man-to-man over there. We're not going to give you any help, and we trust you to go make a play and lock down that wide receiver while the rest of the team figures out a way to stop everybody else. Like, I just like Asante Samuel Jr. And I know people in the comments are going to say, we do not need a corner that's injury-prone because we have a lot of injury-prone players, and that's been an issue for Miami over the last 4 years. But to me, there's no downside of taking a cheap flyer on a player with this type of talent. I really mean that. Like, what is Asante Samuel Jr. going to get in free agency? At this point, probably a 1-year, $5 million deal. Like, his stock is so low because of his injury risks that if Miami just came in and offered him, you know what, Asante, we'll give you 1 for 5. We know the medical concerns, and we know you're going to be banged up this year, but we just need help. And on the off chance you could stay healthy and put together a full season, you can get paid next year. Like, there is no downside for a team like Miami that is retooling their secondary in a major way of adding a player of his talent. And the money will not cripple you if he ultimately ends up getting hurt. Like, that's the biggest concern. So I'm taking the flyer and assigning Asante Samuel Jr. 2 more steps on my perfect plan here. But we are sponsored by Prize Picks, the daily fantasy sports platform I play every single day. And the reason why I play it is because you could play it any way you want. You can play baseball, hockey, basketball. You could already go with football, season-long, daily projections. It doesn't matter. Cash in on the basketball playoffs with Prize Picks. Don't miss on your last chance to add your favorite players from the court to your Prize Picks lineup, whether it's points, rebounds, assists. Take your pick of more or less for your shot to win up to 2,000 times your cash today. Turn your playoff hot takes into tickets to basketball's championship series, starting with the play-in round, which has already passed, but get started today with the second round. Every lineup you make on Prize Picks will enter you into the Takes to Ticket sweepstakes, which could get you and a +1 a VIP trip to the Shed. But if you don't trust your basketball knowledge, I mentioned, you can go season long in football. I got less than on 3 player projections here. Travis Kelce receiving yards, Jane Daniels rushing yards, and then Jared Goff passing yards. I'm smelling a 3 for 3 here, but you can take picks like mine, take picks like other celebrities, but just join us over on Prize Picks. Download the app today. Use code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. That's code CLNS to get $50 instantly after you play your first $5 lineup. Prize Picks. Run your game. So I've traded Jalen Ramsey. I signed Asante Samuel Jr. to replace him. I'm now getting aggressive. I am trading Tyreek Hill specifically to the Kansas City Chiefs. And remember, this video is my perfect Dolphins plan. It's not a realistic plan. It's what, in my beautiful mind, would want to happen the most. And I think wiping my hands clean, as I've used that phrase a couple times on this show, of Tyreek Hill could be my favorite thing the Dolphins could do. I'm just sick and tired of it, man. It gets exhausting. It just does with Tyreek Hill. The social media antics, the off-the-field concerns, the immaturity. Like, I'm just done with it. I am. And his cap number next year in 2026 is 52.8. You're going to cut him and save $37 million in cap before June 1st next year after the season concludes. Why not get ahead of it? Like, you trade him post June 1st, It's only a $12.7 million dead cap. You save $15 million this year, and you save $36.4 million next year. That is unbelievably beneficial to the Dolphins. And in my perfect ideal trade scenario, he goes back to Kansas City to reunite with his best friends, Mahomes and Travis Kelce. The Dolphins get a 5th-round pick and a starting caliber corner in Jalen Watson. The Chiefs are not going to re-sign Jalen Watson. He is entering the last year of his contract, former 7th-round pick by Brett Veach in Kansas City. Not going to be re-signed. Watson played 500 snaps last year, got hurt halfway through the year, hurt a shoulder, and then returned for the Super Bowl, so he will be fully healthy for this upcoming season. Already is fully healthy, no concern there. He's been good the past 2 or 3 seasons as a starting outside corner for Kansas City. Long, 6'1", 6'2". And you see his numbers in coverage. He was good, man. Like, good completion percentage, only allowed 1 touchdown. QB rating wasn't crazy high. And as I mentioned, he's not going to get re-signed. How about this stat? The Brett Veach GM of the Chiefs has not re-signed one DB that he signed in undrafted free agency or drafted since he took over. Literally not one. The first one that will ever be re-signed by Brett Veach in Kansas City is when they inevitably sign Trent McDuffie to an extension. He's an all-pro, Pro Bowl corner. Watson is not going to be re-signed. Brett Veach trusts himself, obviously, and he does a great job of it because they always got good players in the secondary over there, to find talent in the draft and in free agency. So I think he's not going to extend Watson. So if they're not extending him, why not include him in a day 3 pick to get Tyreek Hill and go all in here in the final 2 years of maybe Andy Reid, Travis Kelce, and maybe Hill. So if you're Miami, you're saving money by trading Tyreek Hill, and you would get another starting corner. So in my first 3 moves of my perfect offseason plan going forward, we got rid of Ramsey, bye, and Tyreek Hill, bye, and the cornerback room gets 2 new additions. I like that. And you save a lot of money next year and this year. I'm kind of in on it. Are you done with Tyreek Hill? I am. Very obvious about that. Can't be more outspoken about it. Are you done? Type T for trade or type K for key. So I alluded to what a cornerback room would look like. We traded Ramsey, we traded Tyreek Hill. Is this the best cornerback room of all time? No. Is it competent? Yes, it is. I mean, you start Asante Samuel Jr. and Jalen Watson on the outside. You got 2 guys that can play in man, can play in zone, physical, and then you got Cater Coe in the nickel and versatility. You have UDFA Storm Duck and Cam Smith as outside corner hybrids. Jason Marshall Jr., the 5th-round pick from Florida. Like, that room, after the 3 trades that I have done so far in this perfect offseason plan, are much better than what you have now. That room is better than what you have now. I'll take Samuel Jr. and Jalen Watson over just Jalen Ramsey, without a question. And I'm willing to sacrifice Tyreek Hill in order to get this room. I am. No issue with that whatsoever. And I'm fine having Jalen Waddle, Nick Westbrook-Ikini, Malik Washington, Devon Achane, Jonnu Smith, and Jalen Wright be the leading receivers for you next year in the offensive end. That's kind of where I lie. All right, let's round out my perfect Dolphins offseason plan with a low-level signing. We talked about interior offensive line depth. Why not bring back Isaiah Wynn? Why not? I mean, listen, is he the best offensive lineman of all time? No, I'm not going to act like he is. And he missed almost all of last season recovering from that quad injury. He was your starter in 2023 before getting hurt, and he was solid the first half of the year. And then took a long time to get back for in 2024. Played 34 snaps in each of the final 3 games the Dolphins played in week 16, 17, 18. Didn't put up the best numbers. I mean, I'm not going to act like he was otherworldly. But I think the PFF numbers did him a disservice. I thought he was better on film, better on tape than what the grades would show. And it's not like he's costing you a lot. It would be a vet min contract. And I don't see this downside of adding Isaiah Wynn. He's versatile. He can play 4 out of 5 positions on the offensive line. He can play left guard. He can play right guard. He can hypothetically play right tackle and left tackle. Hasn't done it in a while. But remember, he was a first-round pick out of Georgia and played offensive tackle for the Patriots for multiple years before being signed by the Dolphins in free agency. He knows the Mike McDaniel offensive system, which is not the easiest thing to pick up for offensive linemen. He's athletic. And is he better than Liam Eichenberg? I think so. Like, you have as your 3 backup linemen right away for Savinaya, Patrick Paul, Brewer, Jackson, Daniels. You have those 3 being Larry Borum, Isaiah Wynn, and Liam Eichenberg, and then maybe one UDFA or Andrew Meyer. Like, you can do worse. You can do worse for sure. So I like that offseason plan. You fix the corner room, you save yourself money this year and in 2026, and you add a lineman to kind of complete this roster. Kind of feels like that could be as good as it gets for Miami going out. But that's my opinion. You can let me know your thoughts on my perfect offseason plan going forward for the Fins in the comments. But also make sure you subscribe, because if the Dolphins make any moves the rest of the offseason, we will have you covered with content and videos. So join the channel today.